This is Rob Tebbutt for Boxing Social in association with Betfred. Delighted to be joined by unbeaten bantamweight. I guess you're a contender now. I was almost going to introduce you as a prospect, but very much a contender, Lee McGregor. How are you, Lee? Nice to see you.
Good, thanks. I'm good. How are you, mate?
Very well, thanks. Very well. Always a pleasure to be down here at the MTK Performance Centre. So nice to be face to face, in the flesh. Much prefer it over Zoom. But anyway, enough about me. How was your Christmas?
Yeah, it was good. Enjoyed it. Spent it with my family as usual. In training, preparing to fight early on this year. So it was nothing too exciting, but just exactly what I needed, spending quality time with my loved ones.
Now, one thing that we spoke about before we turned the camera on is seemingly kind of the last couple of years, really. You've had fights announced, fights delayed, fights postponed, fights cancelled. You were due to see you back end of last year. We didn't. So let's start there. What happened with that?
Yeah, so like you said there, I've had a few career-changing fights scheduled, done. Everything was set to go. Unfortunately, none of them have materialised. End of December, just there, we were out in Vegas preparing for voluntary defence of the European, because it was just a voluntary, and we knew the Kash Farooq fight was done for April, so we just wanted to get one out there before. So we're not going to fight Rusty, and Kash would have been the same. Out in Vegas, picked up injuries, and there was a couple of other personal things, and it just wasn't meant to be. So we are now into the new year, and here we are, just obviously just waiting on that big opportunity.
I was going to come on to Kash slightly later on in the interview, but let's start there. Of course, recently, surprising news that he's unfortunately had to call time on his professional career. Somebody that you shared the ring with, were due to share the ring with again. We were all looking forward to that. Just a few words on Kash, very unfortunately having to call an end to his career.
Yeah, no, I've said this before. I think everybody knows how devastated I am, as obviously, of course, as much as he is as well. We're both devastated. Like we said, we were both going to go on to change our lives. Win, lose or draw, it would have been a great fight. We would have, I believe, we had a great rivalry, and it was potential to be 3-4 fights in our careers and have a really good rivalry, like I said. Unfortunately, due to very unforeseen circumstances, that's obviously not going to happen. But I've wished him well. I've passed on my wishes. I've made it clear that if I can help in any way, then I'm willing to do so. And like I said, I wish him all the best, and I hope he can put his knowledge into the sport and keep involved and do something, because he's a great talent, and he gave me the best fight in my career so far.
That's nicely said. Obviously, just like to echo those from myself and Boxing Social. If Kash, if you're watching, anything that we can do to help, please do let us know. Back to yourself, of course, you did box Kash the first time. In a lot of people's eyes, a close controversial decision. The fact that you're not going to get the offer, because I know how much it meant to you to get that rematch and kind of erase any doubt, to win in a conclusive fashion. Yeah. Not going to get to scratch that itch anymore. How does that make you feel?
Frustrating, yeah, very frustrating, because I've said before that every single day waking up since the fight was basically made, well, before the fight was made, but then when we knew everything was done, it was going ahead every single day. That was what was making me wake up in the morning at 6, 7 a.m, not tired in the slightest, motivated, plenty of energy to put everything into my training, learning, studying, doing absolutely everything. Living, breathing boxing was all based on that rematch, because I knew I had to be at my very best, and I was, and I am going to be. I've got to, I guess, thank Kash in a way, because he's definitely obviously changed my whole mindset towards boxing, because for that first fight there was a lot of things done wrong that I've fixed and corrected, and that's why I was so excited for the rematch, because I was going in there a complete different fighter. I believe he was as well. We were both improved, but with no disrespect, one that I was very, very confident in going in and making a huge statement, and unfortunately I'm not going to get to do that, and I'm going to have to live with all these haters and doubters and have things to say, but it's one of them. I'm going to push on, and I will be a world champion, definitely, and I'll honour Kash when I do that, and I'll always be grateful for that fight that we had, because that has moulded me into the fighter that I'm going to be for the future.
Prematurely took the microphone away from you there. I haven't spoken to you since the Legrand fight. not your best night, I think it's fair to say. First time you've been down as a professional, ultimately. Got the stoppage, win on the scorecard and what have you, on the record. What happened?
Potentially, I think there was a bit of complacency crept in. I don't know why, because he was 32-0, 17 knockouts, serious fighter, good fighter. I don't know, maybe just because the Gurfey fight was so explosive, so impressive. Maybe I didn't get ahead of myself because I've always got my feet on the ground. I always put 100% in the training, but I just didn't have that fear factor how I did for the likes of Gurfey and things like that. But it's something I've definitely learned from, and I'll never do again. I'm glad it did happen. I've learned a lot from it. I've reflected on it, and I'd rather that happen then in my career than against these guys that I'm going to be going in the ring against this year, because getting caught from one of these guys, I might not get the chance to get back up. So I've experienced all that, I've learned from it, and it's one that it's definitely not going to happen again. And I am, like as always in my career, I'm grateful for the hard times and setbacks.
Seems like every time I talk to you, it's like a Weight Watchers meeting where I ask you about your weight and how long you're going to be able to stay down at bantamweight. But it is a valid question, and every time I see you, you're that little bit bigger, and I'm sure that more difficult to make 118 pounds. Are we still on the race against the clock? Are we still on a race against time for you to be fighting for a world title down at bantamweight?
No, not really. Believe it or not, I am in a great position right now as we speak. I've got no fight date, and I could make, if I was given, I could make bantamweight in a couple of weeks, no problem. So, not just yet. Like I said, because of since that Kash fight, I've educated myself so much, and I've invested in myself, and I've done the things that fighters won't do, that have benefited me and are going to benefit me in the future, and that's why I can keep making bantamweight, because I'm so disciplined in everything I do. You won't catch me eating a chocolate bar, you won't catch me skipping training, you won't catch me missing a set, you won't catch me staying up past midnight. People might say it sounds pathetic and whatever, but I want to get the best out of myself, and I live and breathe boxing, and I dedicate my whole life to it, and I think that's why I get the rewards I get, and that's why I'm a big lad for the weight, disciplined and dedicated. And so, to answer your question, we're not in a race, but it's not easy. Of course it's not, but comfortable enough just now. But it's not that's going to make me move up. If anything, it's opportunity. I can definitely fight at super bantamweight, no problem at all. I think I can win a world title at super bantamweight as well. So if an opportunity rises up there, then I wouldn't turn that down. That's a discussion I need to have with my team and talk more about. But I can potentially just start floating between the two weights and seeing where I get the best opportunity. We're just waiting to see things being finalised just now, and we'll take it from there. But as it stands just now, I'm in a good position, and my aim is to become bantamweight world champion.
Just kind of continue on from there. I was about to say what's coming next. Obviously, you've just had a really big fight that was signed, sealed and delivered, pulled from out underneath you. But some sort of eliminator. Obviously, you're well ranked across all governing bodies, particularly the IBF we were talking about earlier. Do you think that's the most likely scenario next, boxing for some sort of eliminator?
Yes, I do think so. I'm gutted, obviously, about the Kash fight falling through. That was life-changing. My profile would have rocketed up again. Financially would have changed my life. So many things that are hard to take, but I'm a fighter, and my whole life setbacks have been put in front of me, and I've overcame them. So this is no different. I just need to focus on what's next, and like you said, it's probably potentially going to be an eliminator again. We ordered the IBF final eliminator with Jason Maloney, which was a fight I was dying to have. A great fight for me. He's obviously fought for the world title, came close against Rodriguez. Do believe he's a well-seasoned world-level fighter, just like Karim Gurfey was, well-seasoned, solid European fighter. I feel like Maloney was just that little step above, perfect for me. That unfortunately fell through. They decided to opt out from that fight. We've just been going down the rankings. We keep getting letters and emails. Next guy in line. We accepted against the Russian, Nikolai Potapov. That didn't materialise for whatever reason. Don't think they accepted it. Paul Butler's obviously WBO fighting Casemiro. That fell through. His fights fell through. My big fights fell through. Both for the Pro Bellum. I'd take that fight in a heartbeat. Both British as well. That's a big fight. But although I do think he'll probably will get that Casemiro fight, I would love a shot at maybe potentially the winner of that. But going on what's next, I think the next IBF guy in line is Inui's brother, Takuma Inui. I think that fight could be possible. Again, one that I'll accept straight away. So it's the waiting game just now. I'm training, I'm ready to fight. So whenever I get that call and go ahead, I'm ready to go.
You could do like David Hay did with like the Klitschko brothers. You get yourself an Inoue brothers t-shirt of you standing there with the severed heads. Might create a bit of drama. Get yourself an Naoya Inoue fight in Japan.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. If this fight does materialise, my profile's going to go up sky high, just with the name Inui's brother. And then if that fight does happen, then obviously they're going to know better than anybody what Inui's plans are. So if they take that fight with me in a final eliminator, then it looks likely that he's going to vacate the belt. If, obviously, in their eyes, the brother beats me, he'll vacate. I'd imagine if I beat him, which I'm firmly confident in doing, the brother will want to get revenge and not vacate his belt. So it's one of them. Either way, taking that fight and winning it is going to put me in a really, really nice position. And that's all I'm doing, constantly climbing the ladders. And if when I get to that stage and it's these guys, Inui, Danair, although they're the elite pound for pound, if that's who I have to fight to get my hands on a world title, then that's what I have to do. But again, my team decide that for me. I don't think they're in any rush. We've only been 11-0, but my mindset and is like, you know, I'm ready to fight anybody. I'm fearless, and I want to get in there with the best, and I want to challenge myself.
I don't know if it's because it's the pandemic or what, but the fact that you're 11-0 makes me feel really old. I remember when you made your debut. But anyway, final word on Josh Taylor. We're about 4 weeks away. I think it's 6 weeks away. I don't know, mate. I don't know what day it is. We're a few weeks away, shall we say, from his bout with Jack Catterall. I know you well enough at this point to know that you'll be back in your stablemate Josh Taylor. But how difficult of a fight do you think that could potentially be for Josh?
It's one of them, and it's like what we just mentioned about the fight with me with Legrand. As long as he doesn't let complacency get in the way, which it definitely hasn't done so in terms of preparation wise, I feel like it's going to be a comfortable night for him. Although obviously he needs to stick to the plan, do what he needs to do, and Jack, I think, will get a shock and a surprise on fight night. I don't think he's experienced anything like what he's going to experience, and as long as Josh goes about it the right way, I'm confident he gets this done in impressive fashion and moves on to, again, huge fights.
Fans back in Scotland, Lee. Going to be great, isn't it?
Yeah, amazing. I'm absolutely gutted, obviously I can't be a part of it. I'm obviously going down my own route with Matchroom, Pro Bellum, things like that, but I'm confident that my big night in Scotland is just around the corner, no long after Josh, so I just need to keep plugging away, and my time's going to come as well.
Well, we look forward to that. Lee McGregor, always a pleasure. Thanks very much for speaking to Boxing Social. Wish you all the best in 2022. Bit of luck on the way wouldn't hurt. Thanks very much for speaking to Boxing Social.
Thank you, mate. Cheers, Rob.